All right, here we go. We got some cross signals here, but I think we're on track now.
I think so. You want to restart that?
Woo! No, we'll keep right on going. So, what this is about is this podcast is called Who Closed Last Night, and it's brought to you by Walnut Street Hospitality Group. My name is Stan.
And my name is Zach.
And together, we're here to share some of our stories, our lessons, message. It doesn't mean it's right, wrong. It just means that they're lessons that we've learned, and we are hoping to be able to help you maybe through some of your lessons.
Absolutely. And again, I'll give you some ways to follow us or to get some of this information. Follow, like, and share us here on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify. You can look us up on Instagram at whoclosedlastnight_, TikTok at whoclosedlastnight_. Find us on Facebook at whoclosedlastnight. And you can watch our podcast at YouTube, Who Closed Last Night Podcast. Listen to us on Spotify. And most importantly, send your own Who Closed Last Night story to whoclosedlastnightpod, P-O-D, at gmail.com.
Woo! All right. So before we get started, you remember, well, you might not remember, but, in hockey games when they got the Zamboni out there clearing the ice, and that reminds me. That sound kind of reminds me of that. Yeah, exactly.
That thing did it better than I did.
Well, yeah, it did.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay. So today's podcast is part 2 of last week's podcast, which was, of course, part 1. Anyway, so today it's about, it's the part 2 of the 10 restaurant truths and their importance. And so the second 5 that we have today, we're gonna tell you a little bit about why they're important and give you some of our stories, our own personal experiences with these truths, and then we're going to kind of end up with, just a recap of the lessons. We call them lessons, but really, we just hope that we've been able to impart something, into your life to help it get better with operating a business. And then we're going to share some of the comments we've received from other people in regards to, what we've said in the past. So with that, I think we're going to get started. And you want to start off with the first one?
Of course. So the first one I think is very important, right? Proper communication versus slang. The way to please versus just walking and expecting to be followed. You're welcome versus no problem, or my pleasure. So those are the things that I think I know when I go into places now and I say, oh, thank you for that. The biggest answer I get is no problem. No worries, brother.
No worries, right? And I get, I'm not looking for, something proper English from, London or the UK or anything. I'm looking for the understanding of just proper English, I think. When someone says thank you, you say you're welcome.
Doesn't it change your perspective of the business that you're dining at or you're supporting?
Yes, in my opinion, it does.
Right.
And I think that this might be one of those topics that gets a little feedback.
We'll get some feedback, but that's fine.
But that's fine. But I think there are some things old school that are good, some things old school that need to be new school. I get all that. But I think common courtesy and manners are something that needs to continue to happen, in my opinion.
They never go old.
They never get old. They never get old.
It's a classic.
Classics, and we like classics. So number 1 is the proper communication versus slang. And number 2 is escort guests to the restroom versus saying they're over there and pointing. I don't know about you, but I'm always impressed when a restaurant or a store, probably not really a retail store, but when they say, when you say, can you tell me where the restrooms are? And when they say, oh, follow me, I'm always impressed by that, right?
I think what you just said there, using the word impressed, I think that's a wow factor, right?
That is a wow factor.
And doesn't everybody want to have a wow factor, an edge?
I hope they do.
I mean, if you're a performer, you're looking to have an edge, right?
Yeah.
And I think that will quickly separate your level of service from your competitor's level of service.
I would agree with you. And I know that I've been into places, and when they say, oh, it's over there is like, it could be a lot of places. It's over by the double doors. Well, there's 2 sets of double doors. And, you walk down this corridor, they're not there. Then you go down the other corridor.
It's a labyrinth.
It's, what do you call those, escape rooms?
Oh, yes.
You go down this way, and who knows what could happen. But for me, I think it's that personal interaction. And again, you got to, if you're smart about this, every interaction is an opportunity to make your establishment successful.
That's right. That's right.
So with that being said, I think one of the truths that's important is to be able to escort your guests to a restroom when possible.
When possible, and you will impress them.
Yes. What's the next one?
Handling an issue before it becomes a complaint, and not being afraid to handle it head on.
Yeah, like don't hide from it. Own it, right? Yeah, yeah. How do you do that?
So let's say we missed, they had a substitute, they added something extra to whatever they ordered from a menu, right? We missed it in the kitchen, we missed it at the expo line, we missed it when we served the person, and they didn't miss it. They hardly do, right? Because extras come with monetary extras too.
Yep.
And so, so now you're checking on the table, asking them how everything. Oh, they forgot my bacon or whatever on a burger. Oh, I am so sorry. That is our fault. I'm gonna leave that here. Go ahead and nibble at the French fries. We'll pack it up for you. You can take it home with you, and we'll start you the burger the way you ordered it right now.
And so that's, I guess, is that not hiding from it? That's addressing it head on. And it's not letting it get to where they leave and then write a review that says, I didn't get my bacon that I paid for.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I think in these instances, historically, at least for me, I think that if they are impressed, and usually that's impressive, right?
Right.
So you get a Yelp review saying it's a 5-star maybe, right? Hopefully. And what it will say is something to the effect of, hey, they messed up on my order. They missed X, Y, Z. But let me tell you, I was so impressed. They have the best customer service. The manager blew me out of the water. They not only fixed what was wrong, but they allowed me to keep what was wrong. And so I took it home for my significant other, my kids, from tomorrow's dinner. Blown out of the water. It was a great experience. I'll go back, and I'm telling my friends.
Now, see, what you just said there is what you did was you made the guest happy.
Yes.
Which leads us to number 4, which is ensure the guest leaves happy. And I think sometimes we get so caught up or we're so busy that we forget to make the guest happy, right? We're so busy checking all the details that we forget that the reason we're there is for the guest or the customer.
Right.
And so we forget to check to make sure they're happy, or we let them get out the door, and then the server will say, or somebody will say, oh, they were upset because we didn't catch it. First of all, the management wasn't informed. The server should have fixed it or caught it and then took it immediately to a manager. Even if they fixed it, it should be brought, for us, we want the attention to be brought to it. So not only did we fix it, but we gave them that, what we call
extra aloha.
Extra aloha, a little bit extra, so you'll think about us the next time, something that you're not going to get somewhere else.
That's absolutely right. And maybe for those of you that aren't familiar with Hawaii, we're just putting a little extra love in there.
A little extra love. So when you say make the guest happy, that comes, that's a lot of things, right? That's
Yes.
making sure the place is clean, making sure the restrooms are clean, making sure that
Giving them the right of way, right? Making them feel important and special in your home, which is a restaurant, business, etc.
that's right. So I think the question you got to ask yourself and your team is, what would make you happy when you left, right?
That's correct.
And would you be happy having an issue addressed and taken care of, or do you just want to leave upset so you can Yelp about it?
Some
slipped that
people
in
might
there.
want that. Some
I
people
just-
might want that.
Oops, I'm sorry.
Here comes the feedback.
Here comes the feedback. And then what's number 5?
So a genuine goodbye is as important as a genuine hello. What do you think?
So I would tell you,
man.
I totally agree. So you have 2 chances at lasting impressions,
Right.
right? You got when you come in, it's that friendliness that we talked about, that warmth, the genuine,
Welcoming into my home.
right? On your way out, what you have is a second shot at that,
Yes.
right? A
Yes.
second shot to say, and by the way, in some places, this could be a tough question. How was your dinner this evening? And if you know a little specifics about that group, it'd be great for you to say, how did you like that smoking old fashioned that we served you? And make it personal.
Right.
They remember that.
Yes.
They remember the details. They remember that you cared enough to ask, but you cared enough to know about them. What about when someone leaves and no one says anything?
Are you even important? Did anybody care that you came in and supported this business, the team, the server, the cook, the manager, right? That's where everybody gets paid from, right?
Right.
So were you appreciated?
I think that's a great question. And one of the things that I really dislike, not only in our own businesses, but in other businesses, is when you walk in and the hostess or whoever's in charge of greeting you in some manner is too busy doing a task, right?
Yes.
Like they're wiping the menus. Hey, look, wiping the menus are important, cleaning the menus, disinfecting the menus, all of that's important. But those menus don't mean anything if you don't have the guests in there to read them and order from them.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
So I think, and it's just as important when someone leaves that everyone's paying attention. I know you know this. How many times have you gone into or left an establishment and everybody's like huddled together right by the door, but they don't even say goodbye, thank you, you don't get acknowledged at all. What do you think about that?
I think you find that more frequently than you find being greeted or saying thank you.
What do you think what's the message that establishment is sending you when they do that?
Hey, I'm just doing my job and I don't care about the details. I don't care that you came and supported me, my business, or my job, right? I don't, it didn't matter to me because I clocked in, I'm getting paid to be here. I mean, that's my personal opinion. I'm not saying that's anybody else's, but that's how I feel.
Yeah. And so when that happens, do you want to just go up and say, oh, thank you, just to get them to, and of course I don't, but in my mind, I'm like, do they understand the message that they're letting you either leave with or enter with?
And I think the reason why maybe you and I are so passionate about it is because we know the power of those actions in our own business, right? And so even though, we're passionate about it, they just don't know what they're missing out on.
That's probably one of the, that's what makes these truths so important is
Very small change could be very impactful.
a very small, I'm going to repeat that because this is important. A very small change could be very impactful. And that change is really just about noticing, right?
Right.
You still got the person standing there, saying goodbye, saying hello. It's just, do they do that or do they ignore them, right? What's more important, looking down at their podium or greeting the guest?
Absolutely focus 100% on the guest, but let me throw a little extra aloha on there and say, wouldn't it be great if someone opened the door for you as you left and said, "Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening."
Opening the door for them.
How
Wow.
classic is that? A black and white film classic. I don't know nothing about that, but you
But
might.
yeah, maybe that might even be a little bit before my time, but maybe not. So holding a door open, I think, that's part of the. What about when they come in? Do you open the door for them then, if possible?
Personally, yes. I mean, if I'm at a door and I'm in a position to welcome somebody and greet them, I'm holding the door open for them. I'm welcoming them in, asking them, "Hey, how's your day been? Have you done anything fun? We're getting your table ready. Would you like a seat at the bar while we finish it?" It's all about hospitality.
So one of the things that's interesting is we're talking about, greetings and saying goodbye and things like that. Let's take that one step further and talk about a personalized greeting and a personalized goodbye. And we kind of talked about the personalized goodbye, when you're asking them how they liked a particular item or how was your party, or they came from North Carolina and you want to talk about the Tar Heels, or one of the managers that we have, if you came from Green Bay, you better be ready to talk football. No matter who the quarterback is, by the way. But think about this. This is something that I've found very interesting. And it goes to maybe a little more than the greeting or goodbye. There was this one restaurant company that I spent some time with, and they used Coke products.
Okay.
And if someone said, "Oh, I'd like a Pepsi," what they did is there was a little convenience store around the corner. They actually ran out
Wow.
and got a Pepsi and served that. And they might have said, "Oh, sorry, it took a little longer. We only serve Coke products, but I ran across to the store to get
Yes.
you a Pepsi." How impactful is that?
I mean, does the jaw like just drop and hit the table and say, "Wow, you didn't have to do that," right?
Right.
But they did it.
And it was memorable, right? It
Absolutely.
was absolutely memorable. What about this? So I've probably offered to do this a dozen times, but only been taken up on it once or twice. So by one of our restaurants, there are parking meters.
Right?
So they come in and they, all the parties there, and they all get seated except
They're
one.
hosting.
They're hosting it, and this guy says, "Okay, go on up to the table, guys. I got to go run and put some, some change in the meter or something
Feed the
like
meter.
that. I got to feed the meter." And one of the things that I've found pretty potent is to say, "Hey, look, if you can tell me the type of car you have in the parking lot, I will go drop the change in the meter for you." Now, some of them are probably thinking, "I don't want him stealing my car." So those are the ones that didn't take me up on it. But then there's been the couple that have said, "Really? You'll do that for me?" I said, "Absolutely. Just tell me about where it is in the parking lot."
Right.
So I'm not wandering around through two parking lots. Just kind of tell me where it is, and I'll be more than happy to go do that for you.
I've got another one that we've done that's just as impactful and impressive, right? Having umbrellas for your guests, right?
Oh.
So they're dining. It's a date night. You've got they just got to escape the kids. It's their first time out in 3 months. They're dressed, to the T. They're enjoying wining and dining and laughing. And they get to the door and they're nice, wonderful, and it's pouring rain. And now they have to walk a block and a half to get to their car because it was sunny, especially places like Hawaii, right?
Yep.
It can be raining in an instant, right?
It can be raining and sunny.
That's correct. That's correct. But then offering them an umbrella with the expectation that they don't have to return it, right?
Right.
And hey, stay dry, enjoy the rest of your night. Here's an umbrella. You guys have a wonderful evening.
Now, how many times do you think, because I've seen this a couple times, where later on they've come back and said, hey, the last time we were here, we got this umbrella from you. We wanted to return it so someone else could use it.
Now, let me flip the script. Think about the perspective. You're in your car driving, and that umbrella is on the floor in the passenger seat, and you just, every time you look at it, you remember that.
How you got it.
Yeah, that's great. That's marketing still.
That is still part of marketing, but that is one of those truths, right? Is you're
Yes.
greeting them, you're saying goodbye, and it's how you do it, what it involves. Sending them out with an umbrella is a heck of a way to say goodbye when it's raining. So,
And how much did they appreciate that small gesture?
that's one of those unforgettable
They're
things.
talking about it on the way to the car.
That's right. Wow, I can't believe they did that. How
Yeah.
wonderful. So let's do a recap here real quick. The first was proper communication versus slang. The second is escort guests to the restroom when possible. The third was handle an issue before it becomes a complaint. The fourth is ensure the guest leaves happy. And 5 is a genuine goodbye is as important as a genuine greeting. Those are our 5 restaurant truths and matters of importance. So it's the second 5
Yes.
after last week's first 5.
That's right.
If you got a comment about these, if you got something to say about these, what do you think they should do?
So first, you just should stop what you're doing right now. Leave your
Wait a minute. What did you say? Okay.
Stop what you're doing right now. Follow, like, and share. Leave your feedback below. We're going to respond to it. We're going to feature it. We're going to make you feel special. And you can find us on Instagram at whoclosedlastnight_, TikTok at whoclosedlastnight_. Find us on Facebook at Who Closed Last Night. And you can listen and or watch our podcast at YouTube, Who Closed Last Night podcast, and on Spotify. And my favorite, everybody knows, is send your stories that you'd like to share with us, featured on this podcast. We want to laugh with you, cry with you, and just recognize you. Send them to whoclosedlastnightpod, POD, @gmail.com. And we're going to start featuring those on our podcast.
All right, you heard it from him. So here's our comment that we're going to respond to today. And this came from, let's see, the show that we did was, I think, on who you are is not who you're going to be, or who you were is not who you are and is not who you're going to be.
That's it.
And we said that basically, if you have integrity, you have integrity. If the person you are away from work is the same person you are at work. You might have different tasks, but if you're honest, you're honest. If you're, thoughtful, you're thoughtful. And somebody disagreed with us, and they said, nah, I've seen it firsthand. Some people can, and some people can't handle drugs or other things on their days off. So I think this person is referring to the ability to handle it.
Right. I think, people say that what I do in my personal life is my personal life, right? And it doesn't affect work. And our stance on it was, well, if you're coming in with a hangover, or, a little tipsy, right? The party's still going, then it does affect your performance and the reputation of the business.
Yes. And which, turns into customer experience, or they have to leave because they can't handle it, and then
you're short-staffed.
Yeah. So look, we understand what you're saying, and our experience has just been that there probably are some people that can handle it, and I guess it depends on the magnitude to which you enjoyed yourself also. But in general, we still feel like if you're honest, you're honest. If you're moral, you're moral. If you overindulge and you can handle it, okay. We just haven't seen a lot of that. So if you're one of those people, congratulations to you. And and if you're one of those people on the other end, think about what it does to affect your teammates in any given situation. Well, that's our thought, and we're sticking to it.
We're going to leave you with one word.
And what's that one word? Aloha!